Good morning, guys. Welcome to the Shade Z and a brand new video today. Today we're going to talk about the biggest topic in social media right now according to Chelsea fans, whether are you Lampard in or are you Lampard out? As simple as that. That is perhaps one of the biggest things going right now. And I had to say what I think from my point of view, what the whole thing is going, the whole hoopla. So watch till the end as we talk about that. Here we go. So yes, guys. After drawing with Aston Villa, right now we are in a situation that we have to win our next few matches. Most likely the next match that we have is against Man City, but that match could be cancelled because it looks like a couple of the Man City players might have COVID. Now after that we have the FA Cup match, and then we have a couple of matches, Fulham, Leicester and things like that. So not so easy matches. Fulham will be a West London derby. And against a derby match, just like the Arsenal one, form goes out of the window. Now, in this kind of a juncture, in case we don't have the Man City match, Frank might get a couple of weeks, to think about it and prepare himself, because results have not gone his way. We've got 1 point or maybe 4 points in the last 15 points, the last 5 matches, which is not the kind of showing we wanted. Obviously, Everton has been playing very well, so not many teams, though Manchester United did, went there and get 3 points. We did not get it. We lost to Wolves away, and the worst of it, which is a gut-wrenching thing, is losing to Arsenal. Now at this moment, around about 3 weeks ago rather, there was a small minority of Chelsea fans who were Lampard out. A majority of them were Lampard in. But if you make a poll right now, it's almost 50-50. So suddenly, it looks like quite a few guys who were very much with Lamps and wanted Frankie Lampard to stay, wants him out. So we talk about what has changed and what is the go around. Is this Lampard in or Lampard out is a good thing for a club, for any club in that matter. And obviously it's Chelsea, but in respect to any club, we look at Barca and Real Madrid. They love sacking managers if things doesn't go their way. And if you look at even Juventus, when things were going way for Allegri, he went, but then he was sacked. If you look at Sarri, he won the Scudetto, but then Juventus wins Scudetto every year. So he got sacked over there. So a lot of big clubs do this sacking part. Man City has done it over the years now, from Pellegrini to Mancini and all those. And it's only because it's Pep. I guess that's the reason why he gets a little more. Just like Frank being a Chelsea legend. So coming to the basics right now, let's talk about Lampard out first. And we'll talk about the good thing, the in part later on. We'll talk the bad thing first. We look at Chelsea. Chelsea is one of those 3 clubs for quite a bit of time. We were one of the top clubs in England. The other 2, Manchester United and Arsenal. And if we look at all these 3 clubs, United, Arsenal and Chelsea, are playing second fiddle to City and Liverpool these days, especially the last 3 seasons. A lot of these fans of these clubs are not happy about it. And there's different way they're venting their frustration. For example, Manchester United has been winning their last few matches, 6-7 matches they have won. A lot like what Chelsea was doing. We had 17 unbeaten games 3 weeks back, before 3 weeks. Before this 6-7 matches Manchester United has won, they had a time when Man United were losing matches. They got knocked out of the first round of the Champions League. And there was not a single big, small, medium United social media account, whether it's YouTube, whether it's Twitter, whether it's any, just go out there and search it, who did not want Ole out. Right now they are making fun of us, but at that moment, if you ask, they were in our position just a few weeks ago. Let's move to the Arsenal, the Gunners camp. Before beating us last weekend in Boxing Day, a lot of big, medium, small Arsenal social media sites, YouTube, Twitter and everything, were wanting Arteta out. It's only that they were able to beat us somehow. they have all, for the moment. And today, Arsenal plays again, and if they lose again, these guys will come back and say Arteta out. So it's not a Chelsea thing at this moment. All these three clubs were big, huge clubs. Chelsea had a golden period in the history of Chelsea Football Club between 2005 to 2015, round about those 10 years, especially those 10, 11 years. When we were making it to the Champions League semi-finals every season, we were on the top three almost every season, not all seasons. So at times we are spoiled. Absolutely, we are spoiled at a certain end. We are spoiled as Chelsea fans, seeing our team, being at the top. So if you see some of the fans wanting Lampard out because they want to see trophies coming in, they want to see us finishing in the top four. When they want to talk to their fans, talk to their friends actually, who are United fans, who are Arsenal fans, who are Liverpool fans, and they have nothing to talk to, they are laughed at. So that's a big mental health issue. So it's not just, many of them might be foreigners, not living in London, not Englishmen, or from England. That's not the only thing. So it's a lot to do with mental health as well. Now, Frank Lampard is an absolute legend at Chelsea. For me, obviously I'm a little biased, but for me, Didier Drogba, John Terry, and after these two guys, Frank Lampard is the greatest Chelsea player. Had Eden Hazard stayed back, he would have been the greatest, but that's a different story. But for me, Frank being at that level, many people are not able to differentiate the Frank the player and Frank the manager. And if you look at Frank as a player, was an absolute legendary. As a manager, he still has a lot to prove. So understandable, there's a lot of people want quick fix. As I've talked about it for years maybe. I mean, even during Sarri, I talked about the quick fix thing. Now, about the Lampard in. Now, the thing is, would you give him more opportunity just because he's a Chelsea legend? Now, the big question for me is maybe, maybe not. You need to have a system in place. If you look at all the clubs, this year, 2020, have not sacked too many managers. I understand when West Brom has sacked a manager. A couple of championship teams have sacked a manager. And recently, Tuchel was sacked by PSG. They are the big money boys. But normally a lot of clubs, even like Koeman is still stuck there at Barca. Barca has not sacked him. Zidane has not been sacked. If you look at a few other clubs could have sacked their managers, they have not. But I think that this is a vicious cycle. You appoint a manager for about 1 to 2 years. He plays well. He has the confidence of the players. Then over a period of 6 to 8 months, he loses the dressing room and the owner has to then come in and sack the manager. So this is a vicious cycle. Appoint a manager, he performs well for 2 years, Conte example. Then problem with Diego Costa and a bunch of players, he gets sacked. Same goes with Sarri, losing the dressing room, and eventually either he leaves or he gets sacked. Now Frank might have, but we don't know for sure. He had a bust up at the end of last season with Tammy. It's heard that he might have had a word of words with Mr. Timo Werner. But the question right now is, if you eventually lose the dressing room, you will be sent out. You will be sacked eventually. But is that the way to go? Or the owner should spend more time investing on a manager, whether it's Frank, who is an absolute Chelsea legend, or somebody else? Because how often are we going to go through that vicious cycle of appointing managers, winning a trophy, sacking a manager, appointing a manager, winning a trophy, losing the dressing room and sacking a manager? The same thing. So there is a point where we need to put a stop to that. And that's why a lot of people will say Lampard in. We need to have some structure. We cannot let it go every year. But then some big clubs, Real Madrid and Barca. And if you look at Chelsea, for me, I think Chelsea is a big brand. And I was talking to someone yesterday. I was telling him, Chelsea is such a big brand right now in the world of football. We cannot fail. I don't think we will fail as a club. Maybe this is our destiny as a football club, where you get to see that a manager will be appointed. He has some success, loses the dressing room, and then gets sacked. Maybe that's the way to go. whether it's Frank Lampard or whether you want to see him be there for a long time, like David Moyes for 10 years at Everton, 20 years for Wenger at Arsenal, 25 years or so for Ferguson. Those days are gone, I guess. Those days will not come back. Even 5 years for one manager at one club is too much to ask. Though Klopp is there with Liverpool and you see the benefits over there and how good they are, being half of the team is injured and still they are at the top of the table. But to tell you at this moment, Chelsea fans will want results happening at this moment. When you look at the game, whether it was against Villa, whether against Arsenal, no proper game plan. Maybe it's not executed properly on the field, and it may be just if we don't have the Man City match, maybe Frank will get a little more time to just sit back and relax, take some time off, because we'll play the FA Cup match maybe about 2 weeks from now, if the Man City match doesn't take place. So he'll get almost 2 weeks of almost a little bit of leave. Maybe he can just go for a couple of 2-3 days, I don't know, vacation or something. Normally in the Premier League, you don't get that, the Christmas break, the winter vacation kind of. So it's quite something right now. Roman Abramovich, for him, the owner, to think about it, it's very easy to just sack somebody, but it's very tough to be with that person and make things work out. So it's a lot of things at stake. Top 4 is at stake. I have always stated it, that big money is always there. You don't get Champions League, you don't get the money, you don't get the big players. If we are thinking of signing players like Haaland, it's not going to happen if we have to spend 100 mil to Dortmund, and Haaland himself will have a big contract. He will never come to a club who's not playing Champions League regularly. Obviously, if you look at Havertz and Werner, they came in because of Champions League football. Havertz could have gone to Real Madrid, right? So these things have to be thought. So a lot of things have to be talked for Marina and Roman, for Lampard in or Lampard out. I, for one, I'm a big Lampard in. I want him to stay, but at the same time, nobody's above Chelsea Football Club. Frank knows more than any one of us. At the end of the day, if things doesn't work out in the next few matches, it is obviously our decision has to be made. We have to make sure that we finish top 4. Forget about winning the Premier League this season, but top 4 with the team we have, the money that was spent, we have to make sure that we make it to the top 4, get Champions League football. That's the only way Chelsea can get back to what we were. So for me, it's Lampard in from my point of view, but results have to come. If they don't come, there would be a point where a decision has to be made. But you guys let me know in the comment section what you guys think about Lampard in, Lampard out. Do you think Lampard should stay on? Do you think he should be given more chances? Do you think it's time for him to go? I know social media is all over this. This has been a big news, but let me know in the comment section. I love to hear from you guys as always. So until next time, hoping that we turn around, turn a corner and get back to winning ways. I sign off. See you guys. Bye-bye.